Hey guys, welcome back. We're just going to go over how to structure a seller finance deal. We're going to keep it very, very simple, but just to give you guys kind of a visual, how do you do it? It's definitely an overthought process. So as a reminder to what seller finance is, this is when we're tapping into somebody's equity, right? They own the property free and clear, and they don't have a lot of pain, so we're going to show them their gain. So in this scenario, they didn't want the capital gains. And after our first conversation with building rapport, it's a couple that lives off of Social Security and needs some cash flow. So we are gathering all that information, what payment makes sense. After that conversation, they said they need to make an additional $1,500. Social Security, we know, doesn't pay a lot. So they said that's what's going to help us be able to live by our kids. And so, Rochelle, that's the number. So the conversation was, if I can get you to that number every single month, is this a deal? And they said yes. So this is how we worked it out. So this is the seller finance part. We're going to use our resource of bankrate.com, and we're going to plug and play, and I'm going to show you how that goes. We've done our due diligence, so we know that their ARV is $450,000, and they want $1,500 a month. So a powerful thing with seller finance is we're not too concerned about our purchase price as long as the cash flow makes sense. And we can beat out some of our partners, like our retail partners, by offering the seller a little bit more. When we offer them a little bit more, they feel like they're getting more, and that psychology factor with the sellers can sometimes allow you to beat your competition. So for this deal, what I did to make sure, so they want 450. What if I give them 470? So I put it here, calculated for 30 years. Only puts me at 1,300, about 1,305 payment. They want 1,500. So what am I going to do? Am I going to increase the purchase price? Am I going to give them an interest rate? No, I'm going to play with the amortization schedule. So it's not going to bother me very much if it's 25, 30 years. I want to extend it out as long as I can. So let's try 27 years. Where does that get us? Oh, we're getting closer. Let's try 26. And here we are. So we finally come to a payment, and that payment will be for 26 years. It will be $1,506.41. And I'm able to give them the 470 purchase price. The sellers wanted 450, okay, because they knew their property was could sell for that amount. They wanted the $1,500. So what we can do is say, listen, not only can we give you the 1506.41, but we're going to give you 470. And they're going to say, oh my goodness, they're going to be so excited with you. Do these come with some down payment? Sometimes they do. When you offer them a little bit more than what they were anticipating, you can really decrease your down payment. But just to keep this very simple, we're not going to do a down payment. People talk about interest rates. I never mention an interest rate. I basically start with the cash flow, reverse engineer it. And if I can get them their number and a higher purchase price, we're usually good to go. We don't need to add an interest rate. So what happens if they do say, I want an interest rate? Then we won't increase the purchase price. We're going to be able to decrease the purchase price and add an interest rate. So it has to fluctuate like that. If one goes up, the other one goes down, the other one goes up, the other one goes down. But it's very, very simple using these resources, plugging and playing. Now, after I got all of this information here, they want 470, is I'm thinking, what's my disposition style? So what I did is I looked at the rental rates. I looked at all of the different things that I could do with this property. I threw it in AirDNA, and AirDNA is another resource to say, what could I make off of this if it was an Airbnb? It's a great neighborhood. It's a popular place. So I'm thinking this would be a great Airbnb. After I looked at the Airbnb and made sure that the cap rate was over 70%, and what was the nightly rate? You guys, I was making about $3,000 a month. And what will we look at here? We'll reduce what we're paying them, 1506.41. Okay, and so this is what we're going to be cash flowing. Obviously, we'll reduce our expenses if we're having someone manage our Airbnb, but $1,493.59 is amazing cash flow. So we were able to have a win-win scenario with the seller by providing them the cash flow they needed, giving them a little bit more on the purchase price. We figured out our disposition. We could Airbnb it. That's where we were going to make the most cash flow. Like I said, it's a win-win. That's basically how you structure a seller finance deal. Don't overthink it. Plug and play. Make sure you do the bank rate before you actually have a conversation with your seller, so you know where you need to be with purchase price, interest rate, possibly, or even the cash flow. And that way you can handle that objection and hopefully execute the contract at that point in time. So that's how you structure a seller finance deal.